How to pass your ACCA Advanced Audit and Assurance exam self-studying first time with a mark of 55%. If you have the AAA exam for ACCA, you're in the right place because Jack has kindly come on the channel
Mm.
to share his insights. But Jack, feel free to introduce yourself, my friend.
Hello everyone, I'm Jack. I'm 23 and I've recently passed the advanced audit exam, self-studying, which was a great relief and success.
Fantastic, Jack. And you have the insights. I sadly failed my AAA exam, came back to pass, but I only just squeaked over the line where we've got lots of students out there. It could be their last exam. And this video, guys, if you take down these keynotes, could be the difference in getting you that 50 plus. So, Jack, kick us off. What springs to mind if you had to treat yourself to do that exam again for AAA? How would you pass it?
Well, I would attend all the workshops that ACCA offer. There's a few of them and watch the old ones as well. They're very helpful. They give you lots of different exam techniques and the Q&As at the end that other students ask are very helpful as well. Um, so that's the first thing I do. I then also definitely look at the examiner's approach article and
Hmm.
all the ACCA sort of exam technique, examiner's report articles as well. At the beginning, really, just to kind of give you a measure of what the exam entails and what you need to do exactly to pass the exam, basically. That'd be my first sort of thing to do.
Fantastic. And by the workshops that you mentioned there, is this on the ACCA's official YouTube channel? Is it on their website? Where are you finding this good resource?
I usually get emailed from the student resources people to say, have we got a webinar coming up? Would you like to
Oh,
join it? And they're usually shown on replays on the ACC YouTube channel as well.
fantastic. Yeah, I was going to say some of those insights on there from some of the examining team will come onto the CB platform as well,
Yes.
but plenty of insights. Out of interest, did you do your ethics and professional skills module before you did your AAA exam?
Yes, I done my ethics and professional skills module before any of my strategic professional exams, just because just wanted to get it out the way, really,
Yeah.
make sure that it was all done.
Lovely. Okay, so if we get back into the exam day,
Yeah.
what helped you to get the pass, especially from your self-studying as well, not having any provider to help you through?
I think a teacher or tutor, Ben Wilson's, his words in the exam or before the exam, he had done a video and it was about be like a shark in the exam, hunt and get every possible mark you can get, really. And if you don't get it, just move on.
Hmm.
And throughout the exam, there were lots of sections, especially where I felt that my time management wasn't particularly great.
Hmm.
Um, but just sticking to the facts and remembering all the sorts of exam technique points I was taught, bullet points and you know, looking back at the time every now and then and say, okay, have I done this enough time? If I haven't, just moving on like the shark analogy sort of thing.
Hmm.
And I think the main thing is when you start the exam, the nerves obviously kick in.
Hmm.
And I think the best thing to do, what I did anyway, I didn't even start with um, section A. I started with section B just because the volume of the information is a lot smaller,
Hmm.
and that just personally that helped me digest the information quicker and help settle down my nerves, so I was able
Hmm.
to tackle the question better. So when it came to doing section A again, I'd already done most of section B because what these webinars and sections of the exams report tell you a lot of the time is that students spend so much time on section A that
Hmm.
they don't have enough time to finish section B, and that often is a difference between, between getting 45 and 50 and 55 and 50 and
Hmm.
55, sorry.
Hmm.
So that's sort of how I approach the exam during the day. But yeah, I think thankfully it worked, but it was quite bold to start at the end. I've never really done that before, but I managed to have the
Yeah.
braveness to do it this time.
I like the approach. I used to do it when I had my ACCA exams because in that first sort of half an hour or an hour, you really want to get some
Mm,
momentum and you kind of want to say, I always used to think to myself, I'm an hour into this exam. I
yeah.
feel like I've got 15 marks in the bank. I feel like I've got maybe 20 marks in the bank. And if you're going to section B, which is a more sort of maybe ethics or actual substantive procedures kind of question, versus question one is always likely audit risk, business
Yes.
risk. And it's a real meaty kind of question where you don't want to be sat there an hour in and you're looking at the CB practice platform and you're going, oh my word, I don't feel like I've done much on there for it. But speaking of the practice platform, I mean, did you do lots of past papers? Did you do many mocks? Talk us through how did your preparation go?
Well, the preparation, I mean, anyone who's done advanced auditing or even lower level auditing paper, to try and sit yourself down and do the whole exam and then self-mark takes an incredible amount of time and
Mm,
discipline. So I think for me, I done I think the specimen exams and the practice exams that
mm,
ACCA give you. I
yeah,
didn't do the past paper exams just purely because of timing. It was
yeah.
just I couldn't, I had other commitments on, and I just thought, I think altogether that's about four exams.
Hmm.
So I felt that that was enough to just give me enough experience to go through time management and self-mark because for me that was the most important thing because I had the lower level papers obviously lots of multiple choice and you can see where you went wrong or right. But with
Mm,
this one, you've really got to kind of decipher where you think you kind of went wrong or right. And I think a lot of students, including myself, sometimes fall into the trap of sometimes looking at the answer first and thinking, oh, I would have got that. I would have put that in. And often you wouldn't have. So just doing that first and, you know, go through the marking scheme and saying, okay, I
yeah,
wrote about 7, 8 points here. How many of those kind of correlate to what they're
yeah.
saying? And if some of them do, great. And if some of them don't, well, you know what to work on next time.
Exactly. Yeah, the mark scheme is so underrated for anyone who is doing
Mm,
some revision or coming onto mock papers. I used to see what I had in my answer, then go down to the mark scheme because it has the little
mm,
bullet points on there, and it might go, "Did you consider an area of risk on there? Did you consider their internal controls? Did you?" And I used to go through mine and go, "James, you've missed out on these two or three key bullet points, and it just saves you so much time." And like you're saying, when maybe you're working full time, you're trying to balance these kind of things. I used to always use they have these sort of like flip cards or flip books on there, which were really helpful. Again, I can sort of link those down in the description of this video if anyone would like me to show the ones I'm referring to. But what other resources spring to mind that you use that going on to that exam day that helped you? Maybe did you look at the external examiner's report? We took technical articles. What else sort of springs to mind, Jack, that really helped you?
I think you hit the nail on the head there. Technical articles were massive in terms of the audit paper. I think the textbooks and things, they're great, but often it's information overload. There's so
Mm,
many pages, and especially some of the examiner's full answers. I know you're not expected to get to that standard, but I think the technical articles broke it down in a way which is understandable and not too overwhelming. For example, on they had particular exam technique scenarios, and
hmm
on section A with I think from memory it was Rom's question where
hmm
prioritize whatever the specific
Yeah.
audit risks are. What to definitely put in. For example, put materiality in that gives you an extra 3, 4 marks instantly, and things like
Mm.
that. Certain little tips and tricks to just maximize the amount of marks you possibly can. I mean, I got 55, and in the Rom's question, materiality is 3 marks on its own, and
Mm.
then planning, actually saying what you're going to plan as a significant audit risk is another two. So that could have been potentially the difference for me as well.
Yeah, yeah.
So
The margins are
yeah,
so tight, and especially time management. Just to emphasize it
yeah.
again, it is such a tough exam. LinkedIn, we've not touched on it, the professional skills marks, which are now embedded
Mm.
within answers. Now, did you spend any time particularly on that? These are your sort of professional skepticism, communication. If you had to lay it out into a report, how much did you factor that into your revision?
I think for me, I focus more on the layout of my answer, really. You know, making clear headings and things like that to make the marker's life easier to mark my
Mm,
work as well. And I think sometimes if you're writing a particular answer or addressing, I think just reading the question itself is so important. So
mm,
if they, if the question might be, I think from memory in the was it the March exam I done.
Hmm.
One of the questions from memory was challenge the internal audit or the audit committee on a
Yeah.
particular aspect. And obviously, one thing which springs to mind is professional skepticism. And
Hmm.
I think just by writing what you're challenging, that automatically gives you skepticism. Or, but let's say if you went down another route and didn't write about that, or wrote something
Yeah.
completely different, you wouldn't get the technical marks or the professional marks. So I think mainly for me, it's just, if they say, okay, um, can you give me 5 points on ethics, on this situation, my title would be the situation on which the ethical issues arisen, and then 5 bullet points like that. Just
Mm.
as simple as that. And
Yeah.
thankfully, it got me through, and I'm sure it could with other students.
Yeah, exactly. It's all about exam technique. And I used to read through some of my answers. I used to try and fit in sort of a 20-minute revision session on my
Yeah.
lunch break at work. And I used to review my answers after work and go, that was complete waffle on there,
Yeah.
James. I've just read through 2 to 3 paragraphs, and you have to be honest with yourself. I don't know if you've had this when you did past papers, but I read it through and went, James, I would give you 0 for that. And I did the question. I thought, oh, that was okay. Did you ever feel like that when you looked at some of your answers that you just waffled a bit or wrote what you thought was right, but it actually wasn't on the money what the requirement was asking for?
Yes, definitely, especially during those early days of trying to study audit. I think I really, really struggled with certain procedures to apply,
Mm.
and thankfully, once you get the hang of them, they're the easiest to self-mark. But, well, in my opinion, anyway. And I just would look at them and I think, oh goodness me, like where did I get all these procedures from? Um,
Exactly. You sort of, I'm just getting all these memories now of all those hours sat in the library doing AAA. You just there going, oh my word. But we've got to get on record, Jack. What would be your final top tip that for a student to get it down in their notes could be the difference in getting them that 50 plus?
Exam technique, I'd say. Time management, being clear and precise. Even you don't have to write, um, a lot. I think that definitely in this exam it is quality over quantity. Like the analogy I mentioned earlier, be a shark, hunt out the marks you possibly can, and leave the ones that you can't do. And if you do it that way and follow the requirements, you will definitely overall good enough, I believe.
Absolutely spot on. Stick to your guns as to if you do as many past papers, mock exams as possible, you'll start to see patterns as well, so that and work out what works best for you, especially on that exam day. If question one works for you, go for the big one first of all, rock and roll. But there are other alternatives. Get those marks in the bank. I think you've got a very good chance of passing on there. Well, Jack, I have to say a massive thank you for coming on the channel for your debut on there. I can put all the details of things we've talked about, guys, in the description below. And if you have any questions for Jack and myself, leave us one down there. Let us know how you get on in your exam. We'd love to hear it. But any final words of wisdom, Jack? Best of luck or anything for the students?
Yes, well, best of luck. Sort of, watch this video, watch other videos, especially tutors like Ben Wilson, James himself has released videos on AAA in the past. So, yeah, best of luck, everyone, and hope you're successful.
Lovely. Best of luck, guys. I'll put some other videos on the screen now, so check them out, and we'll see you next time. Cheers.